The silence at Althorpe House is not like the silence anywhere else in England. It is a heavy, historical kind of quiet, the kind that comes from 500 years of aristocratic lineage and the lingering presence of a ghost who still commands the world's attention. But in the early months of 2026, that silence was shattered by a digital thunderclap originating from within the very walls where Princess Diana once played as a little girl. This was not a leaked memo or a palace source whispering to a tabloid reporter. It was a cold, calculated, and devastating strike from Charles Spencer, the ninth Earl Spencer. He did not simply disagree with a high-profile media project. He dropped a bomb directly at the center of the Sussex brand. Welcome back to Royal Scope. For years, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry have stayed afloat in the dangerous, turbulent waters of global fame by leaning heavily on one powerful foundation: the memory of Princess Diana. It has been their ultimate shield, their source of cultural legitimacy, and by far their most valuable and bankable asset. But as the world prepares for the 30th anniversary of Diana's tragic passing in 2027, the man who holds the keys to her real story has finally and firmly slammed the gates shut. Armed with just 4 words currently sending shockwaves through Hollywood and London alike. Is this a joke? Charles Spencer did not just reject a lucrative Netflix proposal. He effectively declared war on what he views as the unscrupulous exploitation of his sister's sacred legacy, initiating a crisis that threatens to expose a hidden alliance working behind the palace walls to reshape the future of the monarchy. To truly comprehend why this moment is so catastrophic for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, one must first understand the unique position of the man who delivered the blow. Charles Spencer is not just another minor royal relative living quietly on the edges of the Windsor Circle. He is the high priest of the Diana legacy. While the royal family manages the official, crown-approved version of the late Princess of Wales, the titles, the public duties, the sanitized historical record, Charles Spencer guards the woman herself. He guards the sister who was, without question, the most hunted person of the modern age. He is the same man who looked the entire royal family in the eye during his unforgettable 1997 eulogy, publicly promising that her blood family would ensure her sons were raised with the soul and sensitivity she cherished, rather than within the cold, hard rigidity of the institution. Althorpe is not just a grand English estate. It is a fortress of memory. Diana is not buried in a royal vault or a public cemetery. She rests on a quiet island surrounded by trees she loved, on grounds that have belonged to the Spencers for half a millennium. Charles is the sole arbiter of who gains access to that island, and he is the one who decides who gets to tell the story of the woman who rests there. For decades, he has been a silent, watchful guardian, stepping in only when absolutely necessary and always with surgical precision. But something fundamental shifted over the last few years. According to analysts who closely study the intricate dynamics between the Spencers and the Windsors, Charles reached a definitive breaking point. He has watched from the sidelines as his sister's life, and her very real, profound trauma, has been repackaged as marketable content, sold to the highest bidder by the very people who claim to be honoring her memory. His recent, very public rejection is far more than a routine business disagreement. It is an act of ancestral defense. The spark that ignited this conflict was a project intended to be the great commercial reset for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. By early 2026, the Sussexes found themselves in an increasingly difficult position. Their multi-million-dollar partnership with Spotify had ended in a highly publicized, embarrassing mess, with top executives openly labeling them grifters. Their luxury lifestyle brand, American Riviera Orchard, was struggling to gain the high-end market traction they had anticipated. Even Harry's polo documentary and Meghan's upcoming cooking show were being described by industry insiders as dull, safe, and uninspired. They desperately needed a hit. They needed something monumental enough to justify their massive, multi-year deal with Netflix. And the answer seemed obvious: the approaching 30th anniversary of Diana's death. Netflix executives, hungry for a major flagship series that would attract global subscribers, proposed a multi-episode epic. This was never designed to be a dry, historical documentary. It was envisioned as a spiritual successor narrative. The explicit goal was to draw a direct, unmistakable line between the immense challenges Diana faced in the 1990s and the challenges Meghan Markle faces today. If you are finding this deep dive into the hidden power dynamics of the royal world fascinating, take a quick second to hit that subscribe button and drop a comment below. Do you think Charles Spencer was right to protect his sister's legacy, or should he have supported Harry and Meghan's vision? Let us know your thoughts. The most crushing aspect of this entire executive veto is the immense psychological damage it creates for Prince Harry in particular. The Duke of Sussex is now caught in a position that is deeply, painfully complex. He is trapped between the absolute loyalty he owes to his wife and the historic heritage of the bloodline he left behind. For Harry, the Spencers have always represented the real, human side of his history, the part of him that was not a sanitized product of the House of Windsor. Yet, by allowing his commercial media ventures to lean so heavily on his mother's trauma, he has alienated the very people who stood up at her funeral and swore an oath to protect him. In 1997, Charles Spencer stood at the pulpit of Westminster Abbey and promised to protect Diana's boys, ensuring they were encouraged to have genuine souls and sensitivity rather than being overtaken by rigidity. Now, it appears Charles believes he is fulfilling that exact promise by protecting Harry from his own commercial choices. By refusing to let the Sussexes utilize Diana's name for a commercial streaming series, he is effectively signaling that the brand has become more important to them than the actual historical truth. It is a rebuke that cuts far deeper than any tabloid headline, because it comes directly from blood and from history. This monumental decision has also significantly deepened the cavernous gap between William and Harry. Prince William has reportedly been deeply frustrated for years regarding the continuous commercialization of their mother's memory. Now, for the very first time since the Great Royal Rift began, William and his uncle Charles Spencer find themselves in complete, public agreement. Harry is left profoundly isolated, drifting in a narrative that his own maternal family has openly dismantled. In the cold, transactional world of Hollywood, perception dictates reality. And the current perception of the Sussex brand is that it is simply too risky to invest in. Elite brand strategists are all echoing the same sentiment. The Spencer veto is a fatal blow to their royal-themed content. When the literal brother of Princess Diana publicly categorizes your creative project as exploitation, you instantly lose the authentic, golden connection that constituted your entire global selling point. Netflix staff are reportedly in a state of serious internal concern. The 2027 Diana project was supposed to be their one guaranteed, bulletproof success. Without the cooperation of Althorpe and the Spencer family, the project loses all of its prestige. It instantly transforms into just another unauthorized, sensationalist documentary, exactly the kind of content audiences are growing tired of consuming. This failure to deliver a major, authentic project gives Netflix every executive reason to reconsider their massive contract with the Sussexes. If Harry and Meghan cannot provide the authentic royal drama the world craves, and their lifestyle content fails to hit viewing metrics, what exactly is their long-term value to a global streaming giant? They risk becoming yesterday's news, lost in the chaotic noise of 1,000 other social media influencers.